Family, we are back. This is the Raps Podcast. Today we're going to talk about tapping into you. What's the most important thing going on? And we got a hot one for him, baby. Let's get it.
I'm Cal and Dave Jones are the host of the show. We living in some difficult times, as most of us know. Let's lift each other up and put down the straps. If you didn't know, the name of the show is called Raps.
Uncle Cal, what's going on, sir?
What's going on? You know the intro ain't dropped.
It didn't. Well, it dropped on this side. You probably didn't see it on that side. We rocking over here, baby. They seen it. They know.
Okay, yeah. Well, if I ain't see it, they ain't see it.
We can go ahead and catch them up. Look, Raps willingly responding as people should, my baby.
Yes,
we have to be back. We miss y'all, man. I miss the people, man. How about you, Doc?
Man, you know, when you giving love and receiving love, you know, how can't that not be missed? You know what I'm saying? It's just like, man, you're doing something you feel like is a part of you and you want to do and you feel like you're supposed to be doing, you know. You feel a little empty when you ain't doing it, you know?
That's right, man. You got to change what's inside of you. That puts us right on topic today. We miss you guys, but in our pursuit, as one of the reasons why we were gone for a couple of weeks is we were doing what we're talking about. What is the most prioritized thing that we all should be doing, which is focusing your attention on you. It's being in the position that you have the foresight and the wisdom to respond. We talk about willingly responding as people should. How are we able to respond to our lack? How are we responding to the things that are going wrong in our life? Because we all got different situations that, you know, we may be a shortcoming here and we wish we had that and we're looking at other people. So we're usually talking about how do we respond to certain situations, but how do we respond to our situation? We have the response and the ability to focus on you. And what I'm talking about is your gift. What I'm talking about is your grind, your passion, what brings you joy, what brings you, you know what I'm saying, peace. Chase that thing that's inside of you. And so we just want to dive into that and just kind of kick it. Nothing deep, nothing extra planned, but to remind you of who you are. Go ahead, jump in there, bro.
Man, that's so good, man, because like one of the good things you said about, you know, finding that thing, your peace, you know what I'm saying, your gifts. More importantly than that I didn't find with myself personally is like some things that don't bring me peace that may bring me money, I necessarily don't even want no more. You know what I'm saying? Because when you get to a certain stage of life and you jump through so many hurdles and hoops and you find yourself, you know, going through so much to get to a certain place in life, certain things that you used to do, you're not willing to do no more. And certain things that you, when you were younger, that you had, you know, the stress level to deal with, that you just don't have the energy or the synergy to deal with it no more. You just like, you know what? If I got to go through all that for the money, I don't want it. You know what I'm saying? So once you get to a certain place where you figure out what actually makes you content, what makes you happy, what puts you at peace, what you actually need to move without paying attention to what everybody else is doing, then you find to understand what it takes for you to do what you need to do to make things work for you. You know what I'm saying? So like a lot of people, you know, that ain't experienced certain things in life and ain't obtained certain things in life, or they still chasing dreams, or should I say, like one of my homies say, they trying to kill a dream. And what I mean by kill a dream is when you got things in front of you that you want to do, once you conquer them and you do it, you kill the dream because it's no longer a dream. So, you know, you got a lot of people that's willing to put up with a lot of different things and jump through a lot of hurdles or do a lot of things that as you get older, you may not necessarily want to do anymore to get finances because they're trying to kill dreams.
Right.
And, you know, I done been down that road. You know, it's a lot of things that God done put in my path, you know, that I was able to see, you know, that if you asked me when I was younger, I would have probably told you, you know, I probably would never, you know, be able to do this or do that, you know, but God had a different plan for me because, you know, coming from impoverished, you know, younger lifestyle, a lot of stuff I just didn't feel like was even, you know, possible. So, you know, but as you get older, you know, you try to, you know, figure out what it is, you know, once you see some things and obtain some things and get a chance to, you know, do some things, you like, you know, that ain't all that it's cracked up to be. You know what I'm saying?
100%. I think it goes back to the foundation. Like we are all at our original point creators. Like we were created by God or universe, whatever you call them. We say God. And that means everything produces after its own kind. We were made to create by taking an image in our mind, that dream of what you want to actually have, regardless of what the world says you should be doing right now, what you should be focusing on. You know, it's inside of you, that thing that you can imagine, that problem that you can solve, that you want to produce with your hand. Like that's where the life is. I say to a lot of my clients that money is a consequence of solving problems based upon what you create and the systems that you put in place. And so as we go through life and we are getting mature and we're communicating to each other how to really do life properly, we have to be in a season that we're exercising the nature of what we are. We're creators. And so the stuff that we can buy is really not going to give us the fulfillment because there's always a better car. There's always a better house. There's always a better this. The fulfillment comes
always more money.
Yeah, it's always more money. Again, that's just the consequence that we get to enjoy and we get to make some things happen. That creates the happiness, right? That's why you happy when you hit the lotto, but that don't mean you fulfilled, right? Mm-hmm. And so, but the crux of who we are is our ability to create. And so when we talk about the most important thing is us getting to a position that we're not distracted with what everybody else is doing. How can you face yourself and not run from yourself and take what may be difficult in your mind and create it and let that be the thing that brings you joy, that you produce something physically from what was once imagination?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And that's real good when you say, and that's one thing I think a lot of people where they it's like in a crossroad in their life and not really understanding what it is, you know, that gives them fulfillment. It's because they're paying attention to too much that's going on around them, you know. And now it's like when we was younger, you know, you didn't have social media, you know, you only seen what you seen, you know, what was around your crew. Maybe if you get out here in the world, you go to different events and malls and, you know, different things you would see, you know, what else was going on in the world, what other creativity or whatever money other crews was making to the point where you could see, oh man, them boys over there, they getting it, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it gave you, you know, new styles and different things and different cars and you would see. But now, man, it's so much right in front of you that distracts you and have you feeling like what you doing is just not enough. And it's like what you doing, you playing, you know. I'll be having so many of my, you know, saying my cats like, man, we need to do this. And man, we got to get to this and we got to do this and this and this. And I'm like, man, sometimes you got to stop, man, and just take a breath and just thank God for where you at and what he brought you through and, you know, what he have done for you, you know. And then, you know, sit still sometimes because sometimes, you know, your best plan come to you when you're sitting still. You're constantly moving, man, and paying attention and constantly trying to make things happen. You might find yourself just jumping around too much where you really got a lot going on, but you ain't finishing nothing to its fullest ability. So, you know, sometimes, you know, taking a break and sitting back and really paying attention. And then sometimes you got to ask yourself, do you got the energy, you know, to do all this? And do you want it? And is it worth the money? Because sometimes the fox ain't worth the chase, you know, and you know, and sometimes, you know, you can put your eggs, you know what I'm saying? You can put a couple different eggs in a couple different baskets and say, okay, this is good enough right here. I can make this do what it do versus, you know, sometimes chasing more will lead you to an early death and find you to the position where you're making a lot of money, but you ain't got no time. You ain't getting no rest. You ain't got no time for family. You know, you just on a go, you know, and that could be a big problem because it could be, it's a bad habit to fall into because I done fell into that habit, you know, where you just so used to going and chasing and getting to where you don't even know how to sit still.
Right. I think for those of us who tapped into that, the highest level of a grind without the receiving the joy of what you've already created and ignoring that, you know what I'm saying? We can go so hard that we'll miss the light. And I think that's where the foundational principle of just being grateful, like stopping and looking around of what you do have. It may be stuff that's missing that you want, but I think when I ask myself what makes me the most happy it's the things that I've created or the things that I've put in place that I've produced. You know what I'm saying? Because of the work that I put in, right? And so all of us can be grateful. It seems like we can't, but here's a question that I ask myself. What is it that you have right now that you don't want to lose. And if you could think of something, that's what you need to be grateful about. You follow what I'm saying? And most times when you think of what are the things that you would be grateful about or things that you want to lose, to some degree, you had an effort in creating that reality, whether it's family relationships, whether it's, it's business that you put together, whether it's results of how you worked and solve problems for the people that you work with at work. It's all a result of what you have created, right? We all are creating all the time and every time, and we get our joy for the things that we acquire that we value. And when we don't want to lose them, that's the result of focusing on you. That's the result of creating things that you want. And the more we can manifest, you hear that word, the more we could take an image and produce it. Like at one point I wanted a relationship, right? And that was an idea, but I had to put in the work. I had to focus on my character. I had to focus on my ability to listen, my ability to hear, my ability to be patient. It's still going to come back to you in order to produce and attract that thing to you. And so now I can sit back and I can look at my sexy wife and be like, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? I did that. But it started with the focus on you, because many of us may even be in relationships that we don't like. And I know I'm not digressing from the topic, but many times it's not what that other person need to fix. It's always going to come back to what can you do, right? To focus on you, to chase in you, to become, if it's a character trait that will produce something outside of you that you can say, I participated in manifesting my goals of relationships, right? My goals in reality. And that's where I think the missing link is that we all just need to grab a hold to.
Man, and that's so good, because I think that's what's going to push us ahead in life and really get us to see all our goals. And just to see the fulfillment of life is to just like self-evaluate, constantly self-evaluate, because sometimes a lot of people self-evaluate, through things and stuff they accomplish. But, you got to look at your shortcomings, because there's always something there. You know what I'm saying? It's always something you can improve on. So if you just stop paying attention to everybody else, a lot of people get off on not working on themselves by finding, things wrong with other people. So it makes them be able to, look over their own fault, So I think, sitting back, man, and just being able to just be a critic on yourself sometimes, and just being able to just not take everything personal and keep people around you that's going to hold you accountable and build you up and tell you where you falling short at without you taking it personal, man. A lot of these guys, they softer and more timid than women. You can't tell them nothing, man. They all in their feelings. They take. So I just, I mess with who mess with me, and I want my friends to be real with me, and I try to be real with them, and we build off each other. You know what I'm saying, to make the best version of ourselves.
Like that.
I think one of the things, the world is at a crossroad, because a lot of people, man, with the way the world going far as they see all these entrepreneurs and all these overnight successes, and you got people blowing up on YouTube. You got people blowing up, just doing some of the most simplest things that it make everybody feel like they're a boss. You know what I'm saying? But one thing people don't understand about being a boss is the responsibility of the bosses. You know what I'm saying? And number one key thing to being a boss, I try to tell people all the time, is if you ain't willing to pay everybody to make sure everybody else got their family taken care of first, and you going home with the scraps, then you don't really understand the responsibilities of being a boss, because number one rule, taking what, when the dust settle, whatever's left there on the floor, that's what you got to pick up and make work, and that's just how it go, and we living in a time where people just don't want to work. So you got to be real creative about, your finances and what you willing to do. You almost got to be, self-sufficient nowadays, because anything that involves too many people on your payroll, puts you in a higher bracket or a higher scale to fail, because people just don't want to work. They don't want to do right. So, but, it's a lot of people that's being there to get it, sitting at home. They creating other ways to get the money. So I ain't knocking the hustle if you got one that causes you to be able to use your mind more so than physical labor. But what I'm saying is, in these times we're living in right now, you got to be so creative in making choices as far as what your next move is, because it's got to be, like Pac say, my every move is a calculated step. It's got to be calculated, because, you know, especially guys up in our age range, Dave, you know, we getting older, you know, you need chances to fail.
Right.
You make the right move at the right time and making sure that it's going to be longevity. Because, you know, for one, you running out of that drive to even try to start something else, you know. So you got to just be patient, sit back, like you say, capitalize on the things that God and blessed you with, you know, look at the things that you don't want to lose, and then double check, you know, like the old contractors say, the number one rule to doing construction work is measure twice, cut once.
Cut once.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how you got to. That's how you got to be right now.
Let me jump in here real quick. I think, and that's, you talked about those who chase an entrepreneurship, because when we're distracted looking at our phones, we see that they're getting the stuff, they're getting the consequence of ultimately what their focus is. Like when I say you have to chase what's inside of you, or you have to prioritize you have to compartmentalize. Who are you? Who am I? That's what I had. Some of us are not necessarily the entrepreneur or the leader, the risk taker that could take the responsibility of everybody else. Some of us are maybe the entrepreneur that can partner with somebody. Some of us are maybe have a certain skill that we're good at, whether it's carpentry, whether it's you can provide pleasure through comedy, whether it's entertainment or sports. Like, you have to know who you are, and you have to focus on that gift, that passion, and imagine if you worked on it to whatever capacity that you could produce it to where it could solve a problem, it could relieve somebody else's pain, or it could provide somebody else's pleasure. And that's what everything is. And those all bring the consequence of money. So if we're focusing on things that we're distracted on social media, trying to chase the result of somebody else's gift, we start things that we never will ever have a joy for, or are not who we are. So we have to take time, like you said, sit with ourselves. What do I want to be? What brings me joy? And you said something earlier, we were talking on the phone. You say sometimes it is mandatory to cut off the phone, to ask yourself, who am I? I had to do that, because if not, your focus will be on everybody else and the comparison of yourself to them. And then you will start to self-sabotage because you aren't reaching the level of success that you think they're going through. But we're missing, that's not who we are. So being entangled in everybody else's business and criticizing what they're doing because we want to be distracted from our own inability to focus on and chase ourselves is causing the anxiety. It's causing the stress. It's causing us being down. So focus on you. Go away. Get a pen and pad out. Ask yourself, who am I? That's the priority here. Who am I? And then figure out how to work on it.
Man, that's good, man. You know, that's good. Figure out, and that's the basis of what we own today, man. You know, just, you know, being the best version of you and doing you. You know what I'm saying? Because what make Dave move don't make me move. What make me move make you move. So exactly. What may be my amount of money I need to handle my business every month may not be what you need.
Exactly.
And what your dreams, you know what I'm saying, as far as what you need, as far as financing, may not be what I need. So,
you know, can I jump in? And just to talk about finance, because finance is usually the distractor, because money, the only purpose that we need money is to give us control, like to control the situation. We think it controls our relationship. We think it controls where we travel. We have control over things, right, with money. And many of us don't have the control to, like, if we want a new car, we can't just go up and get a new car. So it's not necessarily the money that we want. We want the ability to have control. And some of us, you follow what I'm saying? We need to just realize the first thing we need, instead of being extra rich, is just financial peace. The ability to know that we got a certain amount of income to live a certain lifestyle. Once we get that, let that be the first goal. You follow what I'm saying? You can realize that what gift that you already know that you have, you can accomplish that very easy. We don't have to have $1 billion. Not that we don't want it, because I'm trying to get there, but I'm not discontent if I don't get $1 billion. Once financial peace settles in your life and you know where your money coming from, and you could pay for things within a matter of a week or so that you need, then you have a level of financial peace. You have control, and that's all you need. So our bar sometimes is set too high because we're focusing on everybody else and what they're driving, what they're doing. So that's why I say, once you focus on you, you can reprioritize what we think is important. And once we identify that the important thing is being a creator, the important things on seeing your own progressional success on what you see in your mind. Your foundational success comes with the people that are connected to in your family, that they're taking care of, and you're doing your part. Then life is so much easier than the lavishness that we feed ourselves, that we feel we need to have. And that's not it. And so, that's all I pretty much got to say. You can wrap us up here, man. Like when we talking about really responding as people should, our response, we have the ability to respond to our own stress, anxiety, and things. And I've been through this season in my life when I'm looking at everybody else, distracted from my own capabilities, my own responsibility to me, right? And then for those who are spiritual, who know God, like that's what God wants, to get glory out of your life. That means he want to take your intellect, your imagination, and see if you decide to use his creative ability with this time we got. And some of us are getting a little too old to be just guessing at it. Let's focus on who we are and let's grind it out, get into your passion, and let's work, baby.
Everybody ready to cash out. Everybody want to cash out, baby.
You're right.
Dude, man, golly, slow down, baby.
Yeah, man.
You gonna get there, baby. Focus.
Focus. That's a good word, man. Focus. Focus. And the moment you look back and see that, oh, I did that, it just gives you more energy to go harder.
Tell you what God told me to do last week, man. And we're gonna hear, Doc. Get you a dry erase board. I ordered it on $29.
Love
dry
it.
Board, markers. Write down your plan.
See if I can get a dry erase board.
Write down your plan. Just write down your plan. Don't even put years on it, because what you're gonna do with this dry erase board, you're gonna write down a bunch of stuff. Then you're gonna go back to this board and you're gonna say, what can I do? Don't put no numbers, Ron. Just write down all your goals. And don't put no numbers by it. And then what you do is you go back and you look at all these plans and you see what's gonna cost you the least amount of money to do first with the least amount of time. That's gonna bring you the maximum amount of income.
I love it.
You put a number 1 by that. You know what I'm saying? And then you go down that list and you do number 2. And then you do it by less stress, more money, less money going in, and faster outcome getting done. And then you number all those. First of all, some of them you're going to erase off. They're going to be too far-fetched. Some of them you're just going to erase off. They ain't going to even make the cut. And then once you get the ones, maybe the 5 or 10 you're going to start numbering them by, how quick you can get them done, how quick they're going to bring a return, what's going to cost less money. And then get you 4 or 5 of them done. And you're going to look back at that dry erase board and you're going to see yourself accomplishing some things that's going to make you feel like you're not just existing. You're not just sitting around here wasting time. But if you don't set goals and you don't find yourself erasing things off that board and looking at that board and seeing yourself getting things done, then you're going to sit around here depressed, paying attention to what everybody else doing and not feeling like you accomplishing nothing. And that's how you can stay in your own little world and feel like, you blessed and God doing what he need to do in your life. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to take it from there.
That's right. I got the dry erase board up so you can see it. Sir. And we got a link in the description. Just go ahead, tap it. It's only $26. Buy it and start putting some of this stuff in practice. You work on you. Amen. Like if we could just practice maybe 1 less hour of the distractions, whatever yours is, whether it's Netflix, whether it's the phone, whether it's somebody else's business through gossip, focus on you. And the more we get to focus on you, write that thing down. And that's a beautiful part. And I swear I'm done after this. Like, we understand what creation is. If you can see a thing that you can create in your mind, the first way you manifest it, the first way you birth it is to write it. Once it's written like an architectural plan, it's already physical. It's already physical. So you just have to keep doing the work to execute, to put the effort in to turn that thing into something tangible that you can touch and maybe hold, whatever that thing is in your life. And so these are the things, guys. Let's focus on ourselves. We all can do it. Don't let nobody tell you that you can't, man. I love you guys. And for me, man, that's a wrap, baby.
It's a wrap, baby. Let's take a quick. Been off so long, man. I know somebody could use a prayer and they look forward to us praying, man. And I think better with praying for our people and the people out there that's listening and the people that share. when we do it more often, you know, because I was real uncomfortable. We were praying out loud, you know, but you know, the more we do it, the more comfortable we get. And it's, you know, it's always a word in there for somebody. So Father God, we come to you through your son, Jesus Christ, God. Thank you. Thank you for giving us the drive. Thank you for keeping this on our heart. Thank you for us not just continuing to feel like, you know, we're ball droppers, God. God, as you touch the people that's looking, God, we ask, God, that you watch over our children, God. Watch over all our single women, God, to give them the protection they need just to move throughout this world safe, God. Watch over all this human trafficking that's going on, God. There's a lot of things going on. I even seen some in the news where it was teachers involved in human trafficking. So watch over our kids, God. Keep allowing these people to be exposed. It's not right. That's operating under the devil's principles, God. Allow us, God, to change our taste buds. Allow us to eat more healthy, God. Allow us to share more love and just be more caring and see something, a good deed that we can do for somebody today, God, and every day, God. Allow us to just be more loving and speak to each other, God. Pray for each other. Watch over our steps, God. Protect us, God, coming and going from every destination, God, that we're coming from and going to, God. Allow us to just continue to just be more health conscious and do the things we need to do just to work on ourselves and to just pray and that other people continue to have the love and work on themselves, God. Continue to watch over our children. Continue to allow us to just do the things we need to do just to be more humble and loving to the world. We pray through your son, Jesus Christ. We pray, amen.
Cal and Dave Jones are the hosts of the show. We living in some difficult times, as most of us know. Let's lift each other up and put down the stress. If you didn't know, the name of the show is called Rap.